How do, Internet? That is a song that I wrote, 20 years ago. It's called Winslow's Melody, and this is what I taught this week. 5 things that I taught this week in my job as a full-time guitar teacher here in my home in Leeds. And this week, and last week actually, one of my students said, "I really like that tune, will you teach me how to play it?" And I said, yeah, happily. It's in 3/4 time, so sort of waltz time. And maybe the thing that's most instructive about it from the off is that if you're going to Travis pick in 3/4 time, you need some sort of thumb pattern, or some sort of thumb principle that's going to count the threes. So you could go 1 2 3 1 2 3, or 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. And as it happens in that song, I'm doing this: 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1, and that's what the pattern's built around. It's in the key of G major. That's a G chord. There's loads I could show you about it. I'm not going to teach it all now, but as I did with the last episode of What I Taught This Week, I put the accompanying transcriptions over on Patreon, and that's been brilliant. I had a bunch of new sign-ups, a bunch of messages from people saying this is great, can we do this, can we do this? Turned out to be a really good idea, so let's do that again. However, instead of me putting a little bit of tab for this on the post on Patreon that goes with this, I've already got a full tutorial of this on my Patreon because I've been asked to teach it before. It's always really gratifying when I'm asked in my guitar lessons to share something that I've composed, some of my own music. So I've done full walkthrough tutorial with tab, split screen, all of that. So if you want to learn how to play this kind of 3/4, this 3/feel waltz style, sweet finger picking, go on over to my Patreon, have a look. It's £3 a month, and you can just sign up just for a month if you want, and just check it out and see what you're doing. It's only a few quid, and then you get hold of everything that's there. But that is, it's called Winslow's Melody, and this is what I taught this week in my job as a full-time guitar teacher. And I'm going to show you 4 other things that I taught this week. So let's move swiftly along to something else that I got asked to help somebody with this week. Alright, this next one is Caffey's Song by Simon and Garfunkel by Paul Simon. Specifically, this transcription is how it was played on the Sound of Silence record. I'll play it and then we'll have a crack about it. Alright, here we go. That's just a bit of it. It's not the full song, but it's the main thrust of it. I had a student this week who just said, "Do you know how to play this song?" And for me, that is gravy, because yes, I do. There's also, if you listen to, I think the first time I heard this song was when I was young, and I had a record called The Best of Simon and Garfunkel, and the version on that is a live recording from somewhere different. He plays it quite different. And I was more used to playing it like that. And a student who asked me about this said, "Look, but specifically, I love this version of it. I love this intro. There's actually an outro that we didn't get to. Can we do it exactly like this?" So I quickly knocked up this transcription. There's a few interesting things about it that I'll show you. And if you want, I'll stick this tab that I was working from over on my Patreon. So there's this idea. This is a G. I call this a finger picker's G, as opposed to this. It's the same chord. You know, it's made of the same notes, but maybe different quantities of the same notes, different orders. But the crucial thing about this is that you play the bass note with your third finger. And when you do that, you've got both of these fingers free for this beautiful little sort of decorative idea. That's pretty sick. I remember learning that when I was a young lad, thinking, well, this is the business. Definitely Paul Simon was the catalysing force to make me concentrate on fingerstyle guitar. I played a lot of bass guitar as a young, and I played a lot of electric, a lot of punk rock, a lot of grunge. I play guitar and synthesizers in a post-rock techno band. I don't just do this, but when I was getting into Paul Simon when I was a lot younger, listening to some of it with my mum and that, I did think, well, this is just the business. So I have learned a lot of his tunes, still like to learn his tunes, and I'm sure plenty more of them will come up in what I learned this week. What else is interesting about this song? There's that idea, it's nice. That's an A minor 7. When he comes back to the G off the A minor 7, he leaves that bass note in, leaves that E in there, so it sort of makes it a G6 that he drops down to. Just in the bass. And that is super pretty. Then where we got, I'm reading this off a sheet that I made to make sure it's accurate. This B minor, but when he does the B minor, it's B minor with F sharp in the bass. He never plays it in this song. He doesn't do. Where's it coming from? Like that. C in the bass, B in the bass, B minor in the bass. Excuse me. Guess he thinks that isn't as cool as this. There's a bit of tension in there. And then very specifically in this, and I think in the other live version that I learned, when it goes back to G, he doesn't go back to that G, but he very specifically goes to a bar chord version of G. It's just a subtle difference. It gives you a different bass, it gives you this octave in the bass. And this interaction between the B minor and the G is always B minor over F sharp and then G bar chord. Listen to that. Very deliberate choices that Paul Simon makes, maybe because of the vocals, maybe just, I have no idea why he's done it, but I know that I like it. And in my study of this, it didn't necessarily make me think, oh, I need to make sure I put F sharp on the bottom of a B minor, or I need to make sure I use G bar chords sometimes. It made me think, look at these deliberate differences. Do not be blasé about just thinking, well, I want to go to a G, so I'll just go to the same G. Try different versions of the same chord, different inversions of the same chord, to see if it suits your song in subtle ways as you're composing. Another artist, another music teacher who talks about this a lot in his music lessons is the piano player Ben Folds. He talks about it in the context of voice leading, and I've seen live stream piano lessons that he gave where he'll go over, I could have played this chord like this, or like this, or like this, or like this, but I did it like this. And often he would talk about excluding certain notes from the chord. You could have a nice full chord, and you could play all of it. It's different on a piano, but instead, when you just choose just a few of the notes, you can create more space in your music and something prettier. That's about all I want to say about that tune. I'll put that bit of tab over on my Patreon. Let's move on to another tune, What I Taught This Week. Alright, this is Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. It's my fingerstyle arrangement of it. I'll play it. It's the intro section of my fingerstyle arrangement. I'll play it and we'll have a bit of crack about it. Here we go. That's it, and then we go into the verse, don't we? It's this bit that we did last week. But if you want that, have a watch of last week's episode of What I Taught This Week. So, this tune, there is no more of this arrangement. In these videos, I'm literally showing you the stuff that people ask me to show them. And my take on teaching guitar is that if people want to study a bit of theory, we'll do a bit of theory. They want to work on their technique, we'll do that. If they want to learn specific songs, I'll do that. And if they want me to arrange a song that doesn't exist as a fingerstyle arrangement, I'll do that. A teacher lad, he said, I want to play Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd, but rather than singing the parts, because he doesn't want to sing, in this instance, he says, I want to do the melody in the guitar. One big fingerstyle arrangement of it. Now, rather than me sit and go, all right, I'll arrange all of that, and then tomorrow we'll do that, that'll take a while, and I have a lot of guitar students to work through. As I explained last time, I will say, all right, I'll arrange 8 bars, 12 bars, 16 bars, we'll do that, we'll do it week by week. So far, we've got through the intro and the first verse. No more of this exists. But I'll put that transcription of the intro over on the Patreon page. You can go grab it, have a play of it, and when it's all finished, which, might be in another 3, 4, 5 weeks' time, we're working through it slowly. I'll put it all together as one thing and I'll stick that up there, and maybe I'll do a performance of it on YouTube. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think I should do, what you want to see. Likewise, if you want me to arrange anything specifically, I'm not promising I'll do it, but you guys who are following these videos and subscribing and liking and commenting along, please, feel free to ask. You guys are the first, so you get dibs on what we do. I'll do whatever. I'll have a go at anything. And this is built on E minor and A chords. That makes it a sort of E Dorian idea. When you've got E minor, but you don't go to A minor, you go E minor to A major. Really, that gives it a Dorian feel. And that's what's happening. The chords here. That's an E minor, and then these E minor licks. And that's actually a G chord. And then again, these double stops, but then here we go, that's A major, or implied A major. I'm sure in the chords behind in the original there's A major played. So it's drawing from an interesting mode. If you don't know what a Dorian is, you want to get more into that, let me know. Maybe I'll make a tutorial. I'll explain it as in the way I understand it. I understand things in very esoteric ways, and I've always said music theory is very personal, especially to composing people who compose maybe more than they improvise. Music theory, the way that you come to understand how things go together, is legit, and it is very personal, and it can differ from the way somebody else understands it. And we can find common language, and there is already a great swath of music theory has been laid out by scholars and musicians before that everybody can sort of learn and agree on and say, well, this is a standardized understanding of, Western chromatic music. But it's also fine to say, well, I think of it this way, and I look at it this way. I look at these shapes, and I look at these things, and I don't call that that, I call that this, and that is totally legit. And I've got my own stuff going on. And when I teach that sort of stuff, I try and say, well, one person might understand it like this, I understand it like this, you make up your own mind. Let's move on. I'll stick that over on the Patreon. Go grab it. Wish you were here. Let's do another one. Alright, this next one is Planxty Davies. If you remember, we did the first 16 bars of this in the last episode. Check back to that if you want to see it. I've transcribed the rest of it now, so I'll show you that. The remainder of Planxty Davies, and then we will discuss. Here we go. That's it. I'm not going to I'll put it all together next time, all right? Because I need a bit of time to practice that. I only just transcribed that the other day to show it to my student who's learning this song. But that is all there is of this song. So 16 bars in the previous episode and then 8 bars here. That song is apparently from the year 1689. So here we are playing music that's like 300 years old. That's pretty cool. More than 300 years old. 330, I don't know, 335, 336 years old. Have I done them? Yeah, that's the right maths. 336 years old. It was written by Thomas O'Connellan, maybe that's how you say his name, to commemorate the Battle of Killiecrankie. I don't know anything about that. If anybody does and you want to educate me, stick it in the comments. It's interesting to play music that's that old. The arrangement of it that we're playing is in D, G, D, G, A, D. D, G, D, G, A, D. Notwithstanding the capo, which brings it up 5 frets. But if the guitar had no capo, that's what we've tuned the guitar to, and then we've added the capo on. And as far as I know, this arrangement was by Nick Jones and then covered by Nathan Salzburg. And this transcription I've done is from a Nathan Salzburg video on YouTube. So there you have it, Planxty Davis. All right, one more. And finally, a bit of Leo Kottke. I've been studying a song called Jack Fig. I love Leo Kottke. I will take any opportunity to play Leo Kottke, to learn Leo Kottke, to teach Leo Kottke, to listen to Leo Kottke. He's my favourite musician of all time. And I try and get some in every week with somebody. And we've been on this for quite a while. There's a lot of elements to this song, but this week specifically we were working on this line, this theme. It goes like this. There's a lot more to that song. There's loads of bits, but that's what we were doing this week. That was an entire guitar lesson. What's cool about that song is it has a sort of hoedown bass that goes like this. That is G, because we've got G on this string, to D, to the 5th, then to the 5th again, but lower down, then to the 5th again. So G, D, D, D. And just learning how to keep that going whilst playing the line. Excuse me. Okay, and that is it. And I'll put my transcription of how you play that line. I'll stick that on the Patreon as well. I'll do that one more time. One more time to finish us off. Because when Leo Kottke plays it, he plays it super fast, but it might get a bit messy. See? I'm getting away from myself. That's all for this week. I'm sure this video is very long now. I've no idea, so I'll try and chop it down, edit it together to make it a bit slimmer. But get on over to the Patreon if you want any of the tab that accompanies this. Leave us a comment, drop a like, be sure to subscribe, all of that good stuff. Share it round if you've enjoyed it, and as long as people are enjoying it, I'll come back and do more. Thank you. Cheers. See you.